today I wanted to talk about my body transformation from when I started competing in bodybuilding, the truth and my diet and how I got there, the training, everything that went into getting from this body to that body in 3 months. I think for some people, this before and after might not look like a big transformation, but I think for anybody that, especially women that try to build muscle naturally, it takes time to build muscle, so it's not like I have a lot of muscle in the after picture, but I do have muscle and I look way leaner than in the before picture. But I just wanted to tell the truth about how I got this quick body transformation. So going back to when I started competing back in August 2019, when I started prepping for my first competition, I was not in a good place. I used to work out 5 times a week and I did that for several years. I started my fitness journey or lifting when I was 17, 18 years old. And then I started competing when I was 28, I think. So I had years of lifting and building muscle. However, for a year when I took that before picture, I was not in a good place mentally. I had just moved to United States. I was having a hard time adapting, especially when it comes to diet. I couldn't find the things that I was used to eating anymore, so my diet was terrible. I was eating Nutella on a daily basis. I would go and eat at McDonald's like 3 times a week, like it was nothing. I was not working out very seriously anymore. I was going to the gym once a week, twice a week in that year. I was not in a good place mentally, like I said. That year was a point out of the line throughout my fitness journey. I also started gaining fat very fast in that year. So when I started prepping for my first competition, it was not like I was starting from scratch. I already had built some foundation. I just let myself go in that year. So I believe I gained muscle faster because I was just going back to where I was before. So I think that's why we need to be careful when we see photos of before and after of body transformations. We don't know where the person was at when they started the body transformation. We don't know what the person went through. We don't know what the person took. So it's hard to compare ourselves to somebody we don't know. Back to my story. When I started prepping, I went to the gym 5 times a week again. So I was back into my training routine. I was training actually harder than I used to, but I don't think that was necessarily something that I needed to do. It was just something I was doing, trying to compensate for everything. I was also doing extreme cardio. There were days that I would just run for 2 hours. I would run for 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. Also, the diet was very restricted because I didn't quite know what to expect from this bodybuilding world. Now I know you don't need to be in such a restricted diet to be able to look your best on stage, but by then I was on a very restricted diet with regards to calories and with regards to what I was eating as well. I was in the plan that we all know. I was eating tilapia, asparagus, and rice. Although I don't think that's the best diet anymore. Does it work for losing weight or losing body fat quickly? Yes, it does, because you're in a caloric deficit. I was on that regimen for 3 months, and that's how I achieved my body transformation. However, I was trying so hard to achieve the body goal for the stage so quickly. I went all in, and after the show was over, I got really sick. So I was sick for 2 weeks. I lost my appetite, so I was just focused on eating whatever I could, which meant junk food. And I was no longer dieting or even on a healthier diet. I was just eating whatever I could eat. That escalated quickly, and I was back to eating Nutella. I was back to eating at McDonald's, and my weight increased very quickly and more than it was before I started prepping. So that's something that you really need to be careful about. That's why now I believe more in balance than going all in, and then once you're out of the competition you start binging. That's the photo that shows after I was sick and after I was binging. Actually, I was still a little bit sick there. I couldn't even enjoy my vacation. that just goes to show, I think that with balance, we can achieve those same results and just stay there. Not necessarily stage lean, but you can achieve your body goals and just stay there as long as you're doing that in a stable, consistent way. I don't believe in this extreme dieting anymore, but that's what I was doing back then, so I'm just being real. Also, another thing that I used to make up for me not having built enough muscle in the period of time was to be extremely lean on the show day, which made it look like I had more muscle definition. My stage weight back then was lower than it is now. I'm just trying to be real. That's what I did. I don't recommend anybody to do this. I think we need to take our time and just go through a diet that's more stable, lose body fat slowly so you can stay there, not crash, not get sick after you're done dieting, in case you're competing after you're done with the show. So after I was done competing for the first time, I went into this binging mode because I got sick and all of that stuff, but then I decided to compete again a few weeks later. I jumped right into the very restrictive diet again. Then guess what? I went to the show, I ended up winning, which was pretty cool, but then I got sick again because again I was doing things the same way. I was not doing things in a sustainable manner. I was just so eager to get those results fast that I was not thinking long term. So that's one thing that I think we have to think about when we see those before and after pictures of body transformations out there. Yes, the person got to their goal, but we don't know how long they were able to stay there. If they have not done it in a sustainable way, maybe they would just stay there for a few weeks and then went back to their shape that they had before, or even gained more weight if they were in a crash diet, which is what happened to me. So nowadays I'm no longer on this very restrictive meal plan diet. Now I follow a flexible diet for competing. It's way better for me. I also take untracked days when I'm not too close to a competition. I think that really gets my mind in the right place, just being able to eat the foods that I've been wanting to eat and not be so restrictive about my diet, not see food as an enemy. This is a good food, this is a bad food. I no longer see it that way. I know that I can eat that on my untracked day. I also can include foods that I actually like in my plan on a daily basis instead of just eating tilapia with rice and asparagus, which makes things so much easier. Through a flexible diet, I was also able to switch my diet to a completely vegan diet, which I was meaning to do way before I actually switched it, but I couldn't because I was on a meal plan before. I really believe in flexibility for us to not only achieve our goals, but stay there. Yeah, I just wanted to bring the truth about my body transformation because I believe that many of the body transformations we see out there have a similar story to mine. It was not done in a sustainable way. It was not done in a healthy way, and then we see the photos and think it's incredible and wonder why we can get the same results. Well, that's why. So let's just be very careful before we start comparing ourselves to other people's transformation stories. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to make this video to show that not everything is what it looks like. I think that the best thing we do is just not use those photos to demotivate ourselves, to beat ourselves down for not getting the same results in the same amount of time. Just keep doing what you're doing. The results are gonna come. It doesn't matter if they're gonna come the next month or 2 years from now or 3 years from now. The important thing is that you're doing your best. You're doing everything that it takes for you to achieve your goals. The important thing is for us to keep progressing in our journey. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I tried to be as real as I could. If you have any questions, anything that I didn't cover or anything that you want to know, just let me know in the comments and I'll respond to you. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it and I'll see you next video. Bye!